G'day guys, welcome back to Supercoach your DR and welcome to the round 20 review. Hope you had a cracker of weekend. I had a really good one actually. Very proud dad moment. So my oldest son Nash finally managed to play his 50th game. So he's been playing since the under nines, but a lot of injury to deal with, a lot of adversity during his short career. So very proud of him to reach a milestone. And not that you really care, if they're best on ground, worst on ground, as long as they're out there having a crack with their mates. But was the BOG as well, so got awarded the medal and the chicken barn voucher, which is nice. So they can get some chips and nuggets on the house there. So, very proud of the young man. So well done, Nash. So they finished second into the home away season, as it is for Supercoach this week as well. So congrats if you are in the Supercoach finals. But yeah, both of them boys will be in the finals. Nash second has a double chance. Maxie will be in elimination final next week. So the issue is that Nash's game actually clashes with the Brisbane Saints game, and there are never any games down here in Victoria. And you wouldn't believe it, the Collingwood game, when we're down here, I've got a footy weekend with Max's team. So the dads are taking the boys out for the weekend and letting the mums put their feet up and all the rest. So you would not believe the timing of this. So need to get my priorities right. So obviously I'm going to see Brisbane. No, I'm not. I'll watch Nash, man. He does have a double chance though. So it's like, he's going to be playing next week anyway. So, but I can't not watch him in the final, but absolutely spewing. But hopefully I'll get there for at least half the game. I'll go there for half the game. At least I can see the boys anyway. So back to Supercoach show, 24-1-3. This is not good. Unlike the weekend watching the boys, this was not good. And it got to halftime of the Doggies Sydney game because I hadn't watched much footy. I haven't been watching much footy lately at all, just because I've been super busy with lots of different stuff. But as I said, with the boys all day on the Sunday, watching the footy, watching their football. And so end up watching the Lions. What a win that was. Undermanned backline. So well done, boys, for getting the dub there. And then I was like listening / half watching on KO here and there to the Doggies game. And Bailey Dale, I was like, where is this bloke? Sydney weren't kicking a point, and it's like, oh, damn, like, it's so frustrating. And I'll get to some of my players in a minute, but after that, I thought, you know what, I'm turning off Supercoach. I don't care. Yeah, I know I'm going to go crap this week. And swore himself, not going to open it that night. Ended up going to bed without looking at Supercoach and just couldn't sleep. I reckon it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I finally got, let's just see what the carnage is. Checked, and I'm like, oh, well, still inside the top 1,000, which is okay at 904, but at the same time, you look back a couple of weeks ago, I was sort of really coming home with a wet sail towards that top 250 at least. So 2 weeks is a long time in Supercoach, and I think I may have been a little bit too conservative. And as I said, we'll go through the team a little bit, but 24-1-3, 904 for a season rank. It's okay-ish. We've got a month to try to get inside at least the top 500 again. That's probably the realistic aim now, or else just stick within the top 1,000. I'd still be okay, I suppose, with that. Disappointed because I was certainly looking for a high rank this year, but at the same time, I think top 1% is still a pretty good goal, a good achievement anyway. So that's it for the intro, guys. Let's see how this team is looking, and we'll take a look at some captains, because I cannot, for the life of me, as the title says up the top, get a captain right. Hopefully this week, no more Captain Carnage. So this is how we are looking at the moment. And look, as I said, cannot get a captain right. This week, I decided to go with the VC Lachie Neale. 117, certainly nothing to write home about. Early on in the season, you just don't even look at that. See you later. But this week I decided to take it because I've been getting 80s, 90s, low tons. I just have not been able to hit a captain score. So I did decide to go with Lachie. But what makes this overly frustrating is the fact that last week I said I'm going to lock in the two young guns. We're going Sheasel into Dacos. And look what happens. A 160 and a 147 as a backup. Here's a clip from last week. We'll go with the young guns here. She's into Dacos. Yeah, look at this run. 150, 147, 105, 130, 156. So all we've seen the last month is a 116. He's too good for that, isn't he? Collingwood will get up for this game against the Tigers. Surely they'll have to. Will Graham be back? Maybe wait on team sheets, but I may... Do you go the two young guns right next to each other there? The two young fellas. So, just that's been a big Achilles heel of mine, particularly in the last month, just not getting captain right. And I was even saying the other week, why not just go off Flanders each and every week? It's so safe. He's still on his ton run. And look at this, a nice 141. So I don't know what I can do. I suppose I can just stick to my gut. What I say I'm going to do originally, just stick to. So tonight, I'm going to work it out and I'm going to go with it anyway. But there we go. Yeah, just can't need a captain. But let's stop complaining. Let's go through the side. Actually, there will be some complaining as I go along here, I guarantee you. But the Shees with the 160. This bloke is an out-and-out superstar. An out-and-out superstar. I think I'll be selecting next year. Where will he be available? Now, we know that he played down back early on in the season. Has he played down back enough to get DPP there? Has he played forward enough? We know he's been playing forward, obviously some mid-time. So I think he's going to have midfield status next year. It's just what other status goes with that. I'm hoping, well, it would be beautiful to have forward status. I don't know if he's going to get there, maybe defensive status, but some form of DPP would be really nice. And I'll guarantee I'll select him in my starting side if that's the case. Dacos 147 again. You just heard I was expecting a big score from him last week, a big bounce back game, particularly against the Tigers, and he delivered. Now, some would be actually disappointed with this score, given the fact he had like a 70-point first quarter or something ridiculous like that. I wasn't watching the game. I was obviously at the footy with the boys. So, yeah, 147 really rewarded those who went with him late. Nick Martin, 95. I've said a lot of the time this is probably what we expect, so I'm okay with a 95 from him. Luke Ryan. Oh, if he wasn't such a highly owned player, I would be dead set ropeable about this pick. But it is what it is because I think most of the better teams have him. If you've avoided Luke Ryan and you don't have him at the moment, then you're doing very, very well for yourself. I would kill to have a Jordan Clark over Luke Ryan. I can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah, many people, at least I had him very, very early on the season. But for those that jumped on, particularly after the bye, that's bad. It's been such a bad pick, and it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, Longmuir was saying, we don't want the kick to kick chip style and all the rest. It's just burnt him as a pick. So, yeah, we've all got him. Yeah, just unfortunate. Dale with the 79. Now, this has been hurting me. Bailey Dale. Look, he's had one decent score in the last 4, I think, or even 5. What are we looking at here? So, yeah, last 5, 88, 73, 123, 99, 79. So just not getting the job done. Had a 136 before that. But yeah, because he is such a pod in the top 1%, and this is what's killing me at the moment. So Dale for a Whitfield type. That's just really, really bad. Yo has missed a bit of football, but he's been okay for me since I traded him in. So first week, and again, this was all about how much cash I had at the time. But I traded him in for that 139, then obviously 64 after the unfortunate news of his dad, 92, 108, missed a game, then 104. So, 139, 92, couple of low hundreds and a 64, I can understand the circumstances. It isn't too bad, but given the fact he missed a game, that's unfortunate. But we know the risk when we select someone like an Elliot Yeo. But 104 is okay. But it's really a matter of how these two go each week, because it's probably Houston and Whitfield, Sinclair here for some as well, and it's an absolute killer. So, yeah, I would love to upgrade this, and I could. I've got 2 trades up my sleeve. I just don't know if it's going to be worth it, but potentially I'd really like to do that. And this is the other thing that's absolutely killed my season. Not killed my season. I'm a bit dramatic, but yeah, moving forward, this has been such a bad decision. So the week that he was looked to be injured, whatever it was, I was actually looking sideways straight to Caldwell. I didn't have Caldwell at the time, but I thought, no, I want to be conservative with my trades. I want to hold. And he was, that swingman between defense and forward. But if I'd have made that trade, and I had 4 at the time, if I'd have made that trade, it would have made my life so much easier. Max Gawn as well, keep me on to him. If I had have just gone Sherry, left Dogger down forward, that would have also worked out so much better. And it would have not lost any rankings, I don't think. But yeah, these two decisions in particular, I think, have really hurt me. And Fisher was meant to be such a bonus. Like, I had him, as F5, F4, probably at the time. And all of a sudden now he's just gone to a 473k nothing pick from a 530, 540k F4 to F5, in my opinion. Things have just changed so dramatically with Zach Fisher, and this has been the big downfall. I was expecting to be able to loop him back forward, allow the Simpkins, particularly the Doggers, to go off field and be able to loop these blokes. I've had injuries. I've decided to hold injured players. That's probably, again, been a little bit too conservative. But, yeah, a killer Zach Fisher just has not been the player that I was hoping that it'd be. I thought this would be a huge advantage, this 23rd premium. But no, he's absolutely nothing at the moment. So injured, drop, sub, whatever he is, he's just not doing it for me. So again, I've had the choice to trade him out for the last few weeks. I've decided just to hold and probably use those 2 trades for injured premiums. So in a way, and this sounds terrible, but the Supercoach Reaper in me, in my position with 2 trades up my sleeves, almost wants, I don't know how you put it. I don't want to sound like a bad bloke, but a really highly owned player to go down for the season. And people with 0 trades, they've just lost that premium, can't replace them. Or I can actually replace 2 premiums here. So I certainly don't want it to happen, but that's the only thing really, I think, from here that can give me that advantage, because, as I said, these 2 guys here are killing me a little bit. Most people have got the other ones, but that's really hurting me. Do I use these 2 trades just to do another upgrade and get rid of an underperforming primo? Take your pick. Who do you get out? Probably not. I'll just keep on for the 2 at this stage. But rambling on, Neil with the 117, it's okay. It's nothing fantastic. The pattern was after every 70, he gives a monster score, like 2 160s, a 140, something in there. But it was only 117. I say only, it's okay when you compare that to every other player in my midfield. So really, it was the highest midfield score I had, which was all handy and dandy. But when you originally had on Sheasel and Dacos, no good. But the other good thing here, I suppose, if you were to go someone like a Sarong as your backup after you, Neil, then you've actually lost out a few points there. On the other hand, yeah, if you had to go on your Dacos, then you win out. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Bond with a 109, okay, nothing terrific. Zeret, disappointing with a 106. Sarong, 111, that's okay after recent form. When I say recent, last week really hit back, but before that, hadn't really done much. Green with a 102, Walsh with a 102. They're 102 type players, aren't they? Really, at the end of the day, 103.9 for an average, but you take out that 5, he's probably close to a Walsh there with a 108. And then I actually loot Butters. So when the news came through that he was about to get tagged, I thought, look, should I actually just loophole here? Because the good thing was Dowling played the last game, so he could actually come on for any laid out. It's a risk a lot of the time if you do this and you don't have a player that can actually cover in case you have a late laid out, for example. So I decided to bench Butters, but 98, I'm taking that over a Dowling or a Manor. That was the right decision in the end. The disappointing one there was obviously Rosie with a 73. Ouch, but it's been the first time he's failed for me. Massive ceiling game, some 111 type scores. So he's been all good, one failure, but yeah, it is what it is. Ruck's extremely disappointing. You'd love to have a Sherry type pick there. Rowan scored really well. I know English was disappointing, but he was good the week before. Grundy's just turned really mediocre again, hasn't he? Oh, Tristan, where are you? Yeah, it's a killer. So look at that. 82, 94, 121, 72, 96. And 3 of those have been at the SCG. And if you look at the SCG prior to that, earlier on the season, we're talking 153, 117, 143, 158, 99, 139. So, yeah, that's been a real killer. Well done if you went Sherry. I didn't have I did have the faith. I just thought Grundy at the time could be our R1 the way he's going, but not to be. You could own an Ankeny miss this week, so it could be worse. Gone with a 97, so obviously decided to hold. I thought I'd want Gorn for the back end, but I'd be more than happy having a Sherry there now. I would be 1 trade down, but yeah, many places in the rankings I've lost there by making that decision, but see how that pans out. Flanders, brilliant again with a 141. Not much more to say. Probably start him again next year. Zorka, the old man, really nice with a 138. Caldwell with a 92. Okay. Sheeny, 82. Been disappointing as of late. Jacko, well, back to the key forward role. What do we expect? This is what we're going to get. And this is why not having Fisher up there is an absolute killer. So, you know, even Manor sort of equaled that, Dowling just below. But yeah, they're much of a muchness, probably these three with him as a key forward. Simpkin, I just don't know how he doesn't ton up this bloke. He starts a game like a house on fire and then just peters out for one reason or another. But it is what it is. Almost got to 100. The killer here is probably having Jackson on field. You know, you'd love a Dylan Moore there. Lots of other people have. Charlie Curnow, popular pick, also scored really well this week. So that's another thing that really hurt, obviously, along with the captain there. Manor 73, yeah, he's really decent cover along with Dowling. They just do the job. And then Dawson, yeah, I've sort of got stuck there as well as Fish in the back line. So that is how the team's actually looking at the moment. Look, midfield, Jack Steele, trading out Jack Steele. I think he's got, a 117 3-rounder, 110 5-rounder, or it might be the other way around. I think it's, the other way. I'm not too sure. That's been a bit of a killer at the moment. But, yeah, you want Neil on your side. You want Bond, Butters, Merritt, Sarong. Rosie, as I said, the first failure. Green and Walsh are very sort of hit and miss here. So I would love to have 2 upgrades on this, even like an Errol, for example. Not massive on the weekend, but he's been really good. Dunkley would be great instead of someone like a Walsh. But, yeah, they're the weak links along with these two. And, yeah, probably this spot here and not having the ability to loop with who I thought would be a premium up forward. So, yeah, big killer there. But stop complaining. Let's get into the captains here. Trades, well, look, let's see what I can do. I'm honestly getting sick of Dale. Look, I know there wasn't many kick-ins on the weekend. I was expecting like Sydney up there. Surely they've got to score pretty heavily, pretty frequently. So he should get a fair few. And I reckon it was the third one maybe that they got. He was on the bench for it. I'm like, that would be right. That would be right. But all right, at 5.52, we'll sort by highest price. I would love to have Lockie Whitfield. I can't believe I'm saying this. So these 2 blokes here, I would really, really love to have. Sicily was pretty disappointing with the 73, but these 2 are the blokes I'd really love to have. Jordan Clark, I would love to have as well, 106, but 5.56. I'm 4K under from doing that. Can't do that. McGovern, there's no way. Obviously, he's not playing anyway at this stage, but poor old Janeth. This is the one here, probably, isn't it? It's either Tom Stewart. He's been in ripping form. 115 5-rounder, 121.7 for a 3-rounder. Hayden Young's looking okay, and I think he's got a pretty nice draw. Ed Richards, 117, so 114/109. That would be really tempting. Also got that mid DPP just in case, but I know if you have, it's not really important. Then you got your Ryan. Then it's obviously Bailey Dale. Then you're looking at Nazaya. So big score on the weekend, and that's probably tipped him obviously over the line here. But I wouldn't waste it. When I say waste, I wouldn't use a trade going Dale to someone like a Nazaya. I think they could be very similar. Very, very unlucky Ridley owners. Wilkie, I'm not really going near. Look, Trent Rivers, I'm a fan of Trent Rivers. But are we going to be getting 90s, are we? Or yeah, so 111, 131, down to 58, 143. Both fine, but Dale can put up the same type numbers, even though he hasn't been. Hinge. May's the other one I was looking at. What did he get? 99. So May's another one I was looking at the other week. Dan Houston, very highly owned. But yeah, probably don't even want to jump on him at this stage. I always said from the start of the season, you don't sort of upgrade Houston. You start with him with that Adelaide Oval run. But he's been pretty disappointing of late. A couple of nice games in there, which makes up for it, I suppose. Max Holmes, so 80. I'd be interested in him as a pod. 146 for break even. That probably means next week I could even potentially go Fisher to Holmes. So he's been really consistent. You know, if you look from round, right, so round 6, 98, 109, 113, 94, 100, couple of 130s, 88, 103, 110, 82, 118. Just had a couple of lean weeks. So you know what? Next week, oh, yes, I can't do it this week for the Fish. Next week, potentially, if Fisher doesn't play, I could get Max Holmes in for him. Yeah, potentially. Probably rather that than a Dale. This if obviously Fish doesn't play. Rioli, Nick Newman at 479. So he's got a decent type ceiling. Fisher to Newman, doesn't have DPP. 147, 156, but this has been a pretty lean run, hasn't it? Yeah, high score of 9 in the last month. Collingwood Hawks, West Coast and Kilda. Yeah. McKercher. I couldn't go there. Yeah, and I doubt whether or not there's going to be anyone else here. Geez, Crispy's fallen, hasn't he? He was looking great about a month ago. Yeah, no, there's no one else here that Massimo. He's back to keyback, isn't he? To Connie for now, anyway. Yeah, so there's probably no one else there. Fisher, what 502? If I'm using everything in the bank, I could go and fish and Nick Newman. I'd probably. So Houston's got a 112. I could even, depending on, so let's assume that Fisher doesn't play this week. I could even just potentially, if Houston goes under his break even and I'm just there, I could even do that and just go with the crowd with this pick and then loop the 2 pods, see how that goes. Could be an option. Yeah, but see, I'm just at that awkward price. Like, give me another 10K. I've got May, Houston, Holmes up my sleeve. Yeah, so, and the other option I've got, obviously, is to trade in a forward, but I don't think that really makes sense, just having no defensive coverage and using a trade. But Benny Keys, shout out to Benny Keys, only 73 on the weekend, but he's been great. Moore's 504. Do you know what? I would almost do it for Dylan Moore. It's his break even. His break even's 95. Giants aren't going to be an easy matchup. That would be so tempting. Yeah, that'd be really tempting. Do you know what? I could actually do it for Dogger this week and just hedge my bets that I won't need ruck coverage. How about if there's been talk I know on the radio, I was listening to SEN today, just them talking. I think it was Josh Jenkins saying that they should rest Grundy. Hope they don't. I'd still have one trade if there was defensive carnage. But then I'd just hate if like a Bont goes down. I've already used my last trade when I don't really have to. There's a month left though. Do I make my move now? Or do I get to the last week and go, I've got 2 trades? Oh, it's so hard to know what to do. If I could get Fisher to Moore, I would probably just do it this week and do that. And then if defender goes down, they just go down. It is what it is. Or if, one of my mids go down, maybe get defender here. Yeah, I'm not too sure. So I think I'll just probably leave it. There's no other forwards. You go all the way down to Curnow and then bank some coin for the last trade. Give me 71K for my last trade. And then I'm able to loop that Dogger again. The issue is not being able to have defensive coverage. I'll cancel everything for now and we'll quickly take a look at the Capitanos. So, all right, so I got Doggies and Melbourne. You could just go your early VC Bont. Yeah, that looks like half a shout. Then you got Flanders. Do you know what? Should I just She's against Richmond. All right, so I've got to have this. Flanders. Why don't I just stick to what I'm saying? The young guns. Port. Okay, so let's. I reckon I'm going to do that, to be honest. All right, so Cats, Adelaide, no, does nothing. Dacos, Walsh, for me, no. Butters, Rosie, Heaney, Grundy, no. Green, Merritt, no. Martin, no. Caldwell, no. Dogger, no. Sarong, potentially. Luke Ryan, no. Got no faith. You could go your Chocky as a backup. Do you know what? Let's just get this out of the way early. Let's get the pain out of the way with early. Oh, and while I think about this as well, I'll also be putting out this week a bit of a league strategy video, given the fact we're in league finals, and I'm probably going against league strategy at the moment as a bit of maybe a little bit of an Easter egg as to one of the tips that might be included in there anyway. All right, so do you know what? No, I've said it for weeks and weeks now. Let's just do it. Let's go Flanders into Sheasel. That's what we're going to do. Flanders into Sheasel. And surely, I can get myself a decent captaincy score. That's got to work for me. Fisher, if he plays, where do I want to loop him? Well, how's that? I've actually got these two blokes here that I can loop. And do you know what I could even do? Is if Fisher doesn't play and I do something like that, and let's just say that Dale just puts out a stinker, 50, 60 something, is what could happen. Then I could just honestly look to trade the Fish to some sort of a pod, an Isaiah. It's not ideal. I wish I could get a Tom Stewart. I'm just off a Tom Stewart from Zach Fisher as well, which was frustrating, but I might even do that as a bit of a loop. Can I loop anyone? Oh, so Sard's playing later on. Dowling, he's playing against Manor. So could I loop? Not going to loop the Bond. No. North, no. Richmond, no. No, so I can't really loop anyone. So I think that I'll just have that on Geelong versus Adelaide. Yeah, I'll probably... Actually, my loop here... Sorry, guys, I should be more prepared with this. My loop here, West Coast... I could have Dawson, though, but that means that I won't be able to have an emergency. Depends if Fisher plays. If Fisher doesn't play, I can still go that in the Friday night. All right, I'll work out my loops later, but Manor I'll probably just loop there, or Dogger. Yeah, it's frustrating having... And Dawson, Simpkin, Fisher, they all play for North, and early games, it's just not ideal for a loop. But that's probably what I'll do, guys. I think I'll go Sheasel into Flanders, loop Dale, even if Fisher doesn't play, whatever. I've got Reed there who I can chuck on anyway, which I'll probably have to do when I've or else see how we go there. But that's it for this week, guys. Swordplay potty tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that. Always good to catch up with the boys. Haven't had basically any request for the stock market at the moment, so I'll sort of replace that with a bit of a league strategy video this week, and I'll aim to possibly do a live stocky maybe on the Thursday night or something like that if there's enough interest for it. So please leave down a comment below if you are interested in any form of the stocky, whether it be old school live, and if there's enough interest, then I'm happy to go live or do whatever just to help everyone out. But that's it for now, guys. Much love, much peace. Hope your team is going a little bit better than mine, but 2 trades up the sleeve. Fingers crossed how to get me up the rankings. All the best, guys. See you soon. Cheers, bye.